Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Deep Cut Dive, the show that we do a deeper dive into the songs, to the catalogs of some very well-known bands. So these are not the radio hits, the FM radio or AM radio staples. These are not the songs that are on greatest hits albums and compilations. These are not the songs that are on all their classic live albums. These are not the songs that the band regularly plays live in concert. These are the songs, the lesser-known tracks that are kind of nestled deep within many of their albums. In some cases, for the casual fans, these might be songs that you've never heard before. So I'm going to offer up 5 deep-cut tracks for British art rockers Supertramp. I urge all the other big Supertramp fans out there to go into the catalog and offer up 5 or 10 other tracks for the casual fan, for the newbie to Supertramp who really only knows those popular songs. That's the kind of point of this whole show, to get past just the popular songs, to dive deeper and to discover some really, really cool tunes from some really cool bands, right? So we're going to get started in a second. I want to give another plug to Stephanie Kiley Designs, LLC, this fantastic rock and roll tumbler. So basically, you know how it's got the slide up top, so you can get a little drinky poo. It holds your water, your iced tea, your soda, your beer, your wine, whatever it is you're drinking. Keeps it ice cold or warm for hours and hours on end. You can fit a lot. I think it's like a 30 ounce or something like that. Could fit a lot in here. She will custom design them for you. So I happen to get Deep Purple in rock, okay, with this cool colors here. You can get your name on it. You can get your favorite album cover, your favorite band cover. If you like comic books, you can get your favorite comic book character. Whatever you want to do, whatever floats your boat, she will custom design it for you. They're very affordable. So on Facebook, you can find her at S for Stephanie, .Kiley, Kiley, Designs LLC. Send her a message. Tell her you heard about her from me, and she'll probably ask you for whatever kind of little JPEG or GIF or whatever kind of picture of what you want to put on here, and if you want anything inscripted on it, and she'll give you the pricing and all that kind of good stuff. And before you know it, you'll have it arriving at your doorstep. So this is a great gift for your friends and your loved ones, or if you just want to give a gift to yourself and put your favorite band or album cover on a cool little drinking device. Very cool. I'm enjoying mine quite a bit. So now that we have that plug here, let's talk Supertramp, right? So I've chosen 5 tracks from throughout their catalog that I think, again, most of you casual fans have probably never heard or might not have heard. And if you have, that's cool. But we'll see, right? So let's start off number 1. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning, all the way back to 1970. Most people seem to have forgotten that there was a band and there was an album by these guys called Supertramp. Look at that album cover. It's like, oh, I've never heard that album before. And it's funny because I'm pretty guilty. I know, like, I've been collecting Supertramp stuff and listening to Supertramp for a long, long time, since like the 80s. But I didn't get a hold of this till not that long ago. I just that this is not one of the albums that had all the notable songs and all that kind of stuff. And I was always like, oh, that's probably just like a interesting curiosity in their catalog. It's actually pretty good. At times sounds like a different band. And the song that I am going to recommend here is a song called Maybe I'm a Beggar. Okay, really interesting song. It doesn't sound anything like what you know as Supertramp. To me, it's kind of like this weird, the first album was very, very much a prog rock album. Got a lot of folky elements. And as such, this song, which is kind of a lengthy track, feels like early Genesis meets Crosby, Still, Nash & Young. It's got the big vocal harmonies, got the intricate like acoustic guitars, it's got the swirling Hammond organ, I'm assuming it's Hammond organ, big organ sound, a nice lengthy guitar solo. You've got the vocals playing off each other from Richard Palmer, who would leave the band right after this album, and Roger Hodgson. Okay, really cool song, very, very different for Supertramp. Like I said, the guitar solo is pretty lengthy, really good. All right, nice organ, lots of vocals, acoustic guitars. It's a pretty lush song, definitely very proggy from a very, very interesting album, very, very different from Supertramp. All right, for my second choice here, we're going to go to 1975. So we're fast forwarding 5 years to the Crisis. What Crisis album? That's this bad boy right here. A very, very fine record for a song called Sister Moonshine. One of those songs that, Supertramp's got that like kind of collection of very popular songs. There's like, 5, 7, 8 of them that, most people know. Played on the radio, have a very distinct sound. This song, Sister Moonshine, also has that typical big, bright, great melodies. Got a vocal from Roger on here. It's just very typical of what he would do. A lot of great hooks in this song. I never understood why they didn't release this song as a single. It's got those kind of very hummable, memorable melodies from the band, the breezy, bright instrumentation, the mix of keyboards and reeds and all that kind of stuff. Just a really, really good, memorable sing-along song, Sister Moonshine. I'm telling you, if you haven't heard it, listen to it. You'll absolutely love it. If you love all the big hits from the band. All right, next up, we're going to go 2 years ahead, Even in Their Quietest Moments, another terrific album from the band. And I'm not picking anything today from Crime of the Century or Breakfast in America. They're two really big albums. Most people know most of those songs on those albums. I wanted to kind of veer away from those because it'd be way too easy to go to each one of those. Quite frankly, there's not really a lot of deep tracks on either one because most of those songs got played or are notable or they played live or on every compilation. So I wanted to stay away from that. But this is like one of the unsung gems in the catalog, I think. The song I'm going to go for is a Rick Davies song. It's called Loverboy. All right, really good song. Again, Rick favored a lot of really kind of jazzy arrangements and things like that. This also has a very, very strong jazz feel, but again, a very kind of breezy, accessible, easy listening song. Got some tasty guitar solos from Roger in here. Some interesting kind of like church or pump organ, kind of like about midway, 3/4 of the way through the track, which adds this really kind of cool orchestral element. Just a really, really good song. Very, very memorable. Again, another one that probably got overlooked. Could have been chosen for a single. I think I might have done all right. So, all right, my number 4th choice is going to be from Famous Last Words from 1982. So we're going ahead 5 years. So this is after Breakfast in America's really hit big. This album did pretty well. Not nearly as well as Breakfast in America, obviously, but still a very good album. The song I'm going to go for here is the very last song on the album. So it's a true deep track. It's a true deep cut. All right. Don't Leave Me Now. Terrific song. Terrific song. It's got this majestic piano. Another really good Roger Hodgson vocal. He's got a very unmistakable voice. You know it's him when you hear it. He's got very high pitched, and when you hear Roger, you know it's him. It's him and Rick both have very distinct vocal styles. This song it's got haunting melodies. All right, a killer John Hallowell sax solo. This song is kind of proggy. It's definitely more of a prog rock song, but it's got those kind of pop hooks that they're known for. That's what art rock is, right? Kind of progressive arrangements and instrumentation with very, hummable, memorable hooks and melodies. Okay, quirky. Probably one of my favorite songs on this album, actually, but definitely a deep cut that, nobody ever talks about. Don't Leave Me Now from Famous Last Words. And my final selection for you here today, all right, from the Brother, Where You Bound from 1985. So we're going ahead a couple of years. Roger's flown the coop here. So this is basically, Rick is kind of in charge of everything that's going on here. The song is called Better Days from this album. It's kind of like, it's more of a groovy track. Again, Rick Davies, basically he really favored more jazzy, groove-laden music. And I think that really comes to the forefront on this song. There's, like I said, bits of jazz, a little bit of funk, okay? But there's a little bit of kind of symphonic flair going on through this song as well, which hints at kind of their prog beginnings, right? But a really strong vocal from Rick, as well as some really nice flute playing on this song. So again, very, very memorable, very jazzy, very easy listening. Almost like some of the more jazzier aspects of Supertramp's music kind of reminds me a little bit of Steely Dan in a way. There were, Supertramp kind of were almost like, in a weird way, sort of like the UK's answer to Steely Dan, somewhat, all right? At least it's from the more jazzy stuff, especially like this album, I think. So there you have it. So Better Days from Brother, Where You Bound, okay? Don't Leave Me Now from Famous Last Words, Loverboy from Even in Their Quietest Moments, Sister Moonshine from Crisis, What Crisis? And Maybe I'm a Beggar from the debut Supertramp. So there you have 5 pretty interesting songs. All right, off the beaten path, not the radio hits, not the popular staples that everybody knows. So definitely, if you've never heard any of these tracks, go investigate them, listen to them here on YouTube, come back and report. What did you think of them? Okay, that's kind of the key here, is to turn people on to some songs, some music that they may not have heard before. Like I said, if you are big into Supertramp, you know their catalog really well. Dig out 5 other nuggets from their catalog for those folks who maybe are not that well versed in Supertramp. So there you have it. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up later today, we're going to do a quick little Ranking the Albums episode for a band that only ever had 2 album releases. They've been asked for quite a bit here on the channel from a lot of you. New York hard rockers from the 70s, Dust. All right, 2 albums, quick and simple. We're going to talk about those a little bit later on. Also coming up this weekend, going to tackle the discography of the Raspberries. That's happening. If I can squeeze it in, I'm going to try, but I can't guarantee it. I got on tap also. It might be next week. I've got Pain of Salvation and Eloy coming up probably in a week or so. We got Nectar. A lot of people asking for Nectar, so we're going to be doing that soon too. Tomorrow, look for a very cool interview with Steve Babb and Fred Schendel, founders of Glass Hammer. That's coming up tomorrow. We've got another really big interview coming up. It's actually been pushed back a couple days, so hoping for Wednesday with a very, very 2 guys from a legendary band. And that's coming up next week, so stay tuned for that as well. Monday morning, back on the Deep Cut Dive is Jeff Young. We're going to dive deep into the catalog of Heart, another band that's been asked for on the Deep Dive quite a bit. So that's coming up. Also next week, Martin Popoff back on the show. We're going to do Deep Cut Dive episodes with Black Sabbath and the Scorpions, and then there'll be a couple others that I'm going to kind of fit in during the week, whether it just be myself or Jack Toledano. He's joining me for a couple other ones too, so we're working on that as well. Leonard Skinner, Led Zeppelin, and Aerosmith, he and I are working on together. So just trying to fit all this in because there's so much happening. Stephen Reed also is coming back on the show soon too. We're going to do another multi-part review of some new stuff, new album releases and all that sort of thing. And Stephen and I are also, just so you know, because everybody's always asking about all these bands. So Stephen and I are also working on, probably in 2 weeks or thereabout, we're going to do ranking the albums of Dokken. Trying to remember all the bands we're working on together. Arena. Ranking the albums of Arena. And I'm drawing a blank on the third one that we're working on. So there's 3. Just too much going on, guys. Way too much going on. Also, it's also just so the schedule is ridiculous. I've also just secured another interview with a legendary guitar player on the blues rock scene. Okay. And he's a guy who's been around for a long time. So that's going to be happening in 2 weeks. Okay, so that's happening as well. And also, we don't have it on the calendar yet, but it's pretty much set in stone. We just got to figure out when. We'll be interviewing a very, very notable guitar player who plays in like 3, 4, 5 different notable prog acts. Okay, so you can kind of put the dots together and figure out who that might be. So anyway, a lot happening, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow, right? Or see you later on, actually, with coming right back with some Dust. All right, take care. Bye-bye.